broke on the Pro Bowl, and it turns out that hashtag Pro Bolles ended up being kind of, accolades interruptus. It didn't happen. Garrett Bolles was not voted to the Pro Bowl. However, the silver lining, Justin Simmons gets his first Pro Bowl. Bradley Chubb, which actually surprised me quite a bit, Zach. Your reaction to how the Pro Bowl shook out for the Broncos.
I hope BNS is listening right now. I'm going to say a sentence I never thought would come out of my mouth. Garrett Bolles was snubbed from the Pro Bowl. And I know I'm waiting for, the Armageddon to come down right now, Chad. The Lotuses and all that and the pandemic to rise. But he really did play well this year. And I believe the Pro Bowl tackles are Eric Fisher from Kansas City, no surprise there, and Orlando Brown from Baltimore. And if you watch that Baltimore offense, they weren't that good this year. I would venture to say Garrett Bolles was much better than Orlando Brown. Terrific season for Garrett Bolles, though. Pro Bowl notwithstanding, he earned his contract. I'm happy for Simmons. I think he had a Pro Bowl caliber campaign. Is he the best safety in the league? I'm not sold on that yet, but I think he came around the last couple of weeks. Bradley Chubb, I didn't get to see who are the outside linebackers, who are the edge guys joining him, because he had a good season, but Pro Bowl, that surprised me.
I'll pull it up, but just real quick, as far as AFC goes, there is no left tackle or offensive tackle, period, graded higher than Garrett Bolles, according to Pro Football Focus. He's currently the third highest graded tackle, and the only two ahead of him are NFC guys, David Bakhtiari and Trent Williams. You got to go down to the next spot, which is that's NFC as well. Let me keep going here. Cleveland, Jack Conklin is the next highest graded tackle at number 8, followed by Michael Onwenu and Isaiah Wynn. And so, yeah, I mean, this is all about cachet, right? This is about your team did well. And so who are the left tackles for these premier quarterbacks? That's who's getting in, basically. So
exactly,
it's like Garrett Bolles is going to kind of have to follow a similar path probably as Justin Simmons, in that, you have the kind of the breakout year that surprises everybody, and it's really, really good, and it's top of the line, but it's not like blow the doors down, absolutely just, setting the world on fire. And so all this cachet that he's built up this year, it'll end up paying it forward next year. And even if he has a more closer to the mean or even slightly average or slightly above average season, let's say, he'll make the Pro Bowl because everyone was thinking, man, that dude was really good, but we had to get these other guys in there ahead of him because, hey, man, Patrick Mahomes blindside guy, Lamar Jackson blindside guy, so on and so forth.
Yeah, you're spot on with that. If Drew Lock was way more of a household name or the Broncos had a winning record, Bolles would have had a chance. It's all a popularity contest. It's all a clout contest, and it always has been. But the Broncos and the fan base should be happy that Garrett Bolles developed into that franchise left tackle. It took him a few years, but this year was a revelation. He was a completely different player. He earned that contract, and since he got that contract, my one fear was his play would fall off after getting paid. That hasn't happened. He's been consistent. He's been reliable.
Have looked at the entire list. So here's the AFC quarterbacks: Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, in that order. Derrick Henry are the backs, followed by Nick Chubb and Josh Jacobs, all very, very deserving. Wide receivers: Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, A.J. Brown. Okay.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
Keenan Allen, I mean, I don't know I know he's kind of balling out with Justin Herbert. A.J. Brown, he's doing pretty well, but I don't know. I could think of some other receivers that I'd take over those guys. I'm not sure Keenan Allen's stats, but I wasn't aware that he's having a monster season. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm
going to take a look real quick here at Pro Football Reference, and Keenan Allen is currently third in terms of receptions. It goes Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, and then Keenan Allen is sitting right now with 2 games left to go, over 100 receptions, 992 yards, though. So he's averaging, Zach, less than 10 yards per catch. But he does have 8 touchdowns. So, I would say it's a Pro Bowl alternate type of season, but this is more of another cachet type of nod.
I think it's a quantity thing, too, not necessarily a quality thing. So he has 100 catches, but those 100 catches have gone for less than 1,000 yards and less than 10 touchdowns on the season. I don't know. I mean, he's been a Pro Bowler before, and like we've been mentioning, it's all a popularity contest. If you have that name recognition, like Von Miller last year, you're going to get in.
Travis Kelce, Darren Waller are the tight ends. Fullback, surprisingly, I thought it was going to end up being Andy Janovich, but it's Patrick Ricard. Tackles, as you can see here, Laramie Tunsil, Eric Fisher, Orlando Brown. So Deshaun Watson, I guess Lamar didn't make it, so Only one of the Pro Bowl quarterbacks got his left tackle in, but still, the two other guys that did get in, the Texans and Ravens, two of the more premier star quarterbacks in the league. And then guards, Quentin Nelson, shocker, Joel Bitonio of the Browns, David DeCastro of the Steelers. The centers, Marquise Pouncey, Ryan Kelly, and that's offense, Zach. And we weren't really I think the only guy who really had a shot when this season started, or like a genuine shot at the Pro Bowl, even if Drew Lock was like, let's just say slightly above average quarterback throughout the season, like, just like a Ryan Tannehill of Miami Dolphins days level production at the quarterback position. Honestly, once Cortland went down, I think Noah Fant, besides Garrett Bolles, was really the only guy that had a shot at the maybe Dalton Reisner, but he hasn't been that good, Zach. He's improved down the stretch, but Dalton Reisner got off to a very rocky start.
He did. And how much does it hurt that Noah Fant, he might have had a good season, but the two Pro Bowl tight ends are coming out of the AFC West? It's really just an unfortunate situation for someone like Noah Fant. If he was in a better offense or with a more consistent quarterback and consistent coaching staff, he'd be a perennial Travis Kelce type. I fully believe that. The only thing about Laramie Tunsil is if you watch a Texans game, Deshaun Watson is always running for his life. I don't have the sack numbers in front of me, but it seems like they're always surrendering pressure. So I don't understand how you watch Laramie Tunsil or the Houston offense versus watching Garrett Bolles and how he's protected Locke. The Denver offense hasn't looked good, but the one constant, the one positive every week for the most part has been Garrett Bolles. I think he was a big-time snub, Chad. Big time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he has played at an elite level. I haven't checked PFF. I can check it here in a minute, but going into last week, he wasn't credited with giving up a single sack. But as I said it was either the Rapid Reaction or the Gut Reaction podcast on Saturday, that sack, which was a coverage sack in which Locke dropped back, hit his back foot, burped the baby for a second, had to climb the pocket, and as he's about to completely clear the pocket, Mario Addison gets him from behind, and that was being blocked by Garrett Bolles. So I said that then that I'd be surprised if that didn't get credited to Garrett Bolles in terms of pass blocking, but we'll see. Real quick, Zach, before we'll go through the defense real quick. We'll get to your questions. We'll talk about Fangio. First, though, we do have to go through a couple of quick matters of business, starting with the sponsor of tonight's defense real quick on the AFC side. So defensive end, Myles Garrett, Joey Bosa, Frank Clark. Defensive tackle, Chris Jones, Cameron Hayward, Calais Campbell. I think if Shelby doesn't have to miss a month, there's a shot he could have been one of those DTs, maybe. Because he would have – any defensive tackle, it's very rarely the big, beefy run stuffers, the elite run cloggers of the NFL. It's usually the guys who affect the passing game, as pass rushers. And Chris Jones, Cameron Hayward, Calais Campbell, enough said to bolster that argument. And Shelby was on his way, but those four missed games, Zach, really crushed him.
Also, the Broncos record, of course. I mean, those guys are either notable players or they're playing for contending teams. Shelby Harris is still very much a local name to Broncos fans and Broncos media, but a Pro Bowl would have helped his case out for a long-term contract and the hashtag Pay Shelby movement for sure.
At the rush linebacker position, of course, Bradley Chubb, as well as TJ Watt, Matt Judon, that rounds out the trio. So kind of surprised to see Matt Judon, but all right. Off-ball linebacker, Zach, Darius Leonard, Tremaine Edmonds, and then the corners. I know some Broncos fans felt like Bryce Callahan got snubbed. Xavier Howard, Tre'Davious White, two very deserving players. Marlon Humphrey, also very deserving, and Stephon Gilmore. The thing to keep in mind with Callahan is I'm pretty sure there's a loophole, Zach. I'm like 99% sure. I spent a second researching it right before we had to go live, but I think if you're on injured reserve, even this year's version of IR where you can come off after 3 weeks, I don't think you can be eligible for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, but what's interesting now is Stephon Gilmore is hurt, and he might miss the rest of the season. So if Bryce Callahan gets healthy, he might be the injury replacement. So any Broncos fan holding out hope for Callahan to make it, don't give up hope yet. And I'm with you guys. I understand you guys are calling it a snub. It's not really a snub for the reason that Chad just explained. He's on IR. He's not eligible, but we all know he had a Pro Bowl, if not all-pro season this year.